think it goes without saying that the second season of One Punch Man has been kind of disappointing when compared to the first season. That being said, I think the wait was actually worth it for this double dose of episodes, where we finally got to see Garou, the hero hunter, going on a rampage, battling against a group of Class A heroes, and then having an intensely epic battle with Genos, the super-powered cyborg. Hello my friends, and welcome to another review of the One Punch Man anime series. I'm actually going to be talking about 2 episodes today, and I didn't even really have an opportunity to talk about the last episode. I'm going to give my brief thoughts on that one, and then basically I'm going to gush about the most recent episodes. So both of these episodes I think are the strongest case for why Garou is one of the most interesting characters from all of One Punch Man, a series which is basically about heroes and villains fighting each other. Garou is something else. He's a character who is somewhere in between. He's not a hero, he's not a monster, he's not exactly a villain, he's just a guy who happens to sympathize with monsters who get their asses handed to them by a bunch of heroes. I'm sure there's something a little deeper there, but for the most part, he's been the most interesting element of the second season in my humble opinion, and finally we have a couple of episodes which are dedicated to him. The last episode was basically a big setup where he was going to be battling against this group of 10 heroes. We even get to see the return of a lot of classics like Death Gatling, Smile Man, and even a few new ones like Chain Toad, who's basically just a dude who wears a frog mask and uses a Kusari Gama. But we also get the introduction of Magani, which hilariously just means glasses because that's the only shtick of his character, and he's actually a part of Blizzard's group, and he's here acting as support. We also have a cowboy who goes by the name of Blam Blam, an archer named Shooter, and even the return of Stinger. So basically, we got Garou going up against a number of heroes, and he's also trying to protect that one kid who he just conveniently keeps running into all of the time. And at first, it seems like Garou is just going to completely lose here. He's severely weakened, and he's being attacked by multiple people. He's got poison arrows in his back, but it's only a matter of time before he flips on that fuck you up switch, and that's exactly what the most recent episode is all about, which essentially is just a giant excuse for action. And to be perfectly honest with you, the second season has been kind of lacking some really excellent action scenes, and this episode totally delivered on all that front. Is it as well animated as season 1? Hell no! Is it really exciting? Hell yes, it's still pretty freaking awesome to see, especially watching Garou utilize all of his unique martial arts abilities and taking advantage of the powers of all of these heroes, and taking them out in extremely bloody and violent fashion. It's exactly what the character is good at, and seeing it on screen is just damn awesome. Watching him take them all out one by one like a freaking killer in a slasher flick before making his way to Death Gatling, who seems like he has the biggest chip on his shoulder amongst the Class A heroes. Annoyed with the whole hierarchy system that the Hero Association is all about, he simply wants to take him down with his big powerful attack, and Garou just knocks away all of this dude's bullets. Like, by the time he's done with him, there are just bullets all over the freaking ground. He takes out Death Gatling and tries to reunite with his kid yet again, but as predicted, he sees that Garou himself is kind of a bad guy and freaks out and runs away. Right as Garou is getting ready to make his escape and hopefully recover, suddenly Jenos flies out of the sky like a fucking meteorite, slamming into the ground and immediately going into battle against Garou. And this is definitely, I think, the best action scene that we've seen from this season. It was incredibly awesome, and man, it made me realize why Jenos is just such an awesome character. You'd think he'd be kind of one note. He's basically a cyborg who can take a lot of damage and fire beams from his hands. He's essentially like literally Iron Man in many senses, not so much the personality, but what he's truly capable of. But we get to see a lot of really cool techniques in this episode, but Garou still manages to actually give him a really good fight. It really speaks for how incredibly powerful he is after taking down all these heroes and still managing to just barely survive against Genos. But I love this one scene where Genos actually attacks him with his hand, and then Garou rips it off, but suddenly it's still able to work independently, grabbing his throat, plowing him into a tree, and then tying him around it. It's just so awesome, and watching these characters explode around the forest is particularly awesome, until Garou starts to suddenly go through like a weird, crazy transformation where his hair turns like a blood red, and even one of his eyes like bursts a blood vessel, making him look so devilishly evil as he prepares to go completely ham on Genos. That is until Bang finally returns, kicking the shit out of his former student as they prepare to throw down in a badass martial arts match. So what's the rundown on both of these episodes? Like I said, this is kind of a brief review, and this is me basically just gushing, but if you've been wanting to see just a lot of really raw and awesome action, then these are the episodes for you. Lots of really great stuff from Garou, lots of ridiculous over-the-top sound effects and explosions and crazy powers, basically what the big spectacle action scenes of One Punch Man are all about. It could have looked a little more polished in some senses, but for the most part, I got a lot of enjoyment out of a lot of these action scenes, mostly for how unique they were. There were a lot of really crazy heroes battling against Garou, but he still managed to one-up them in every single way. I think as Magani put it himself, even though he's weakened, they're still up against the ropes. Garou is certainly a very scary character, but I can't wait to learn a little bit more about his motivation outside of the fact that he just seems to sympathize with monsters who are beaten up by heroes. I'm sure there is something else there, and maybe with Bang being here, we'll finally get to see that actually come to fruition. And I really wonder if we're going to go back to Genos versus Garou, because I really wanted to see more of that. Don't get me wrong, seeing Bang return and even his brother, who does this awesome, devastating technique by taking out all of these monsters by punching it and all of these rings explode from its body, I still want to see Genos. He's definitely one of the best characters of the series, and if it wasn't for Saitama being here, he might as well be the main default character of the show. The episode previously, like I said, was more of a build-up to this big confrontation, but there were also some other scenes, like the monsters taking over the Hero Association, and basically having them at gunpoint, but also claiming that they come in peace and they just want to live in their very own monster land of happiness, which of course ends up being bullshit when they end up just start shooting people randomly. It's funny, it's ridiculous, it's over the top, and it makes me appreciate these crazy and wacky villains. But really, what more can I say? If you just wanted some raw, balls-to-the-wall action, this is definitely the best stuff that we've seen from Season 2 thus far. So, I'm gonna give both of these episodes 4 out of 5s. Really good, action-packed, a few flaws, but for the most part, probably the most watchable material from the entire series, outside of the fact that, you know, the story is still pretty damn good. It doesn't have the amazing animation of Season 1, but the characters and the setting are still a lot of fun. So that's my thoughts on this episode. I'd love to get yours. Tell me all of them in the comments section below. The big battle between Garou and the other heroes, the battle against Genos, did you have any favorite moments? What's going to happen in the battle between him and Bang? What do you guys want to see, and how do you want to see this season conclude? Let's have a discussion about it in the comment section below. So thank you all for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime reviews, topic discussions, and reaction videos. If you want to help support my channel, one of the best ways to do that is to continue to watch these videos. But if you really want to go the extra mile, make sure to check out my Patreon and PayPal account. There'll be links for all that stuff in the description box below. So thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.